This is the Harley Benton 457 electric guitar. It features dual active humbuckers, satin black body, all black hardware, a fixed bridge through the body, and it's a 7-string. And this is about the most affordable 7-string electric guitar you can buy. And in this video we're going to do a full review, a sound test, and I'll give you my opinions at the end, so stick around. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at this Harley Benton 457 7-string active pickup guitar. As you can see, it looks pretty stealthy in satin black. This is the satin black active pickup version of this guitar. There are two other gloss versions, a gloss white and a gloss black, but they have passive pickups. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just that I wanted to try this particular version. So this is actually a really low cost guitar. It only cost me £160 delivered to me here in the UK. Now that's about $170, $180 depending on where you are. I think that's about the lowest amount of money I've ever paid for an electric guitar, but I've read a lot of good things about these and I really wanted to try one for myself. Now the good news for us guitarists is that manufacturing's got a lot better over the years, so buying something sight unseen is actually slightly less risky these days. So as I said, I paid £160 of my own money to buy this guitar. This is not a paid review, these are my honest opinions on this. And when you think about it, for $160, you're going to struggle to buy a body, a neck and all the hardware, plus get somebody to construct it for you. So this is great value from Thomann. Okay, so what do you get for your money? Well, the guitar arrived in a double box, which is great news. So this guitar was all bubble wrapped in polystyrene inside a box, which fitted the guitar, and then that box was inside a much bigger box, and that was also packed as well. So again, full points to Thomann there. I've bought a lot of guitars over the years, and this arrived shipped just about as good as any that I've ever bought. So what are the main features of this Harley Benton 457? Well, the two pickups here, they're 7-string specific, obviously, but they're both active, which means in the compartment around the back, there's a little 9-volt DC battery powering the preamp, which gives you a slightly hotter output, generally used for heavy guitar music, a bit like heavy metal, heavy rock, that kind of thing. And let's face it, the reason you buy a 7-string in the first place is for that low-end chug. We get 24 medium jumbo frets with highline dot position markers. We get one volume and one tone knob and a 3-way selector switch. That's neck, both, and then bridge. We get a fully adjustable fixed bridge with string through body configuration, which terminates here. So that's where the ferrules are. It's the classic 4-bolt neck with slightly rounded lower bouts. You can reach the higher frets. And as you can see, the body's nicely contoured so it fits nicely against the body as well. And the hardware throughout the guitar is also satin black, so it's got that nice stealth feel to it. Up at the top of the headstock, I've seen a few different specs online for the nut. I've seen ABS plastic and new bone listed. Now I'm going to go ahead and assume this is just ABS plastic. It's really hard to tell. It does have a nice texture to it, but in any case, it sounds quite vibrant. Usually a hack for getting better guitar tone is actually to switch out your nut to bone or new bone or brass or some kind of alternative like that, something really hard, and that gives you a much more vibrant tone. But after playing this guitar for a few hours already, I've got to say the tone's fantastic, so it's not something I'm going to be looking to upgrade anytime soon. Now another thing I noticed about this guitar is that the 4 low strings terminate on the top side, and the 3 thinnest strings terminate on the lowest side. You quite often see that the other way around, so a 3 and a 4, and I guess the theory is to kind of counteract the tension on the neck, so there's not too much tension being pulled on this top side. But again, I've not noticed any untoward issues with this guitar, and I tend to down-tune my guitar anyway, so it's not up to standard pitch. Now speaking of string tension, this thing's shipped with 9s. I normally play 10s or 11s, this thing is a little bit thin for me, but I just wanted to do a good review on exactly how it arrived from the factory. The string quality seems fine, so I'm just going to play them till they need replacing, and these rather nice satin tuners do a good job of keeping everything stable in the tuning department too. So I have already checked the intonation, and I've got to say it's really good. It's not 100% accurate, but it's very good. And the intonation is so close to how I like it that I'm just going to leave it for today's review. And one of the main reasons for that is that when I fit new strings, obviously I have to reset the intonation. So for me, with a set of 9s, it's good enough. Now as guitarists, as we all know, the one thing we can't live without is a good neck. And this is fantastic. Now over the years I've had a lot of high-end guitars from Ibanez, ESP, Gibson and Fender. And I've got to say the neck on this Harley Benton 457 is excellent. The edges of the fretboard are rolled, not just a little bit, but fantastically. They're so smooth. With it being a wider fretboard to accommodate for the 7 strings, it's so nice to have such a lovely rolled edge to both sides of the fretboard. I don't know if they're all shipped like this, but if they are, then I've got to say Harley Benton, you are doing everybody a great service. And I've got to say it's an absolute joy spending time playing this guitar. So on a 7-string guitar you get that extra low B string that we love for the low-end chug. So when you're playing deep riffs and heavy chords, there is a little bit of fretting going on, so we'll look at the neck setup when I come to fit my 10s or 11 strings. but by no means are any of the notes choked, and with distortion on you can't hear any of that fretting whatsoever. It's just that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and when it comes to setups I like everything to be perfect. So moving on to the controls, we've got the volume and the tone knob, and I've got to say there's quite a lot of resistance in those. It feels nice and quality, not too flimsy, not too fast. I actually like a slightly faster volume and tone, just so when I'm playing I can whip them about the place. But at this moment in time, there's quite a lot of resistance, but I'm sure they'll free up the more I use them over the next couple of months. Then we've got your basic 3-way blade switch. We've got neck pickup, both pickups, and then bridge pickup. I always leave it in bridge. That's what this guitar's all about, let's not pretend. So now, let's get stuck into the sound test so you can hear how this thing plays, and we'll come back at the end for some opinions. So yeah guys, what did you think to that? Please do stick some comments below. I always try to reply. It's good to have a chat about these guitars, and I think this one's a pretty special one. For me as a player, the neck is such an important part of a guitar, and this one feels fantastic. I really can't knock it, and that doesn't mean just for the price. I actually think this is a really highly valued guitar for me. So yeah, in terms of the way the neck feels, it's fantastic. Beautiful rolled edges, really make this thing a pleasure to play. It's got a nice wide fretboard, which I think looks cool, but also it's very easy to reach. So even for people with smaller fingers and smaller hands, I don't think you'd have any difficulty playing this guitar right at the upper register here. Now, of course, as well as the playability, the sound quality of a guitar is very important to us. I've got to say this Harley Benton 457 does produce a great low end. It has good string definition, and I wouldn't hesitate to gig this instrument, just as it is. Now that being said, coming at this with my years of playing and owning a lot of other guitars, I do think this can be improved upon. I didn't think for £160 or $170, $180 that I'd be getting the best sounding guitar in the world, and I am impressed. I'm really impressed actually. But I've got to say I do think this can be improved upon. And what specifically I mean about that is that I think the output from the pickups is kind of making a bit of a woolly sound, especially when I'm playing low register chords. That's one thing that's really caught my attention, is that sometimes playing the low register chords, the clarity and the string definition is not quite as crisp as I would like it to be. So I've actually got a plan in mind for this guitar. Although it's 100% functional, it looks and plays great, and I would have no issues playing this at a rehearsal or a gig. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove and replace the humbuckers, and I'm going to turn this into a high output passive pickup setup. So I'll be replacing the bridge humbucker, maybe the neck, and I'm going to get rid of all of the wiring from the inside and install a very basic direct volume, no tone pot engage, just a one volume that controls the humbucker in the bridge. I may retrofit a neck pickup, but I think I might just stick with the neck pickup for now, because that's what this guitar really is for me. It's a low-end, heavy, distorted riff machine. And I'll go through all that in my next video. So please, if you haven't already, do like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to know that you're as into this as I am, and we've got big things planned for the rest of this year. So please hit the like and subscribe button right now. So yeah guys, there we go. That's the Harley Benton 457. It's a great guitar. I honestly don't think you could buy a better heavy riff machine for £160. I just think this is a good guitar, no matter what the cost of it is, and I really highly recommend it. So that about wraps it up for today guys. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take it easy.